Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and welcome back to Road to FC26. This is episode 2, Respect the Restart. We also have a bonus, which is Mastering Manual Defense, as well as Destroying Defenders. It's a double bonus. Now, as we get into this video, you are going to see this team go up against a team full of Team of the Season, honorable mentions, all the players that are up to the power curve. This team right here is the team we will be facing in this game that we will break down. But it is in lower divisions. That is where this restart practice can help you so much in preparing for the next iteration of the game, which is FC26. I do this every single year. Year after year, game after game, whether it's eFootball, UFL, I take it the same way, which is just like my real playing career. I put time and effort into the training process, so when I get into the real games, I'm ready to go. In FC in particular, taking yourself back to the start of the game, right? Back to where you had to build up your team from nothing, and using these lower level goal players, slowly but surely working up. You've seen at the beginning, we got Salah in a player pick. So right there, that's a huge addition, which is crazy to hear, right? Getting a goal-rated Salah is a huge addition at this time of year, but it is because we are working on the restart. We are already preparing for FC26. Now, this is earlier than I would typically start training. Right now, I'd be playing PlayStation tournaments, gathering FC points for the next iteration of the game. But now that I have a channel, the most important part is helping you all over just being a player and preparing myself in the best way. However, getting this jump start on restart training, as I call it, will help me a ton, and it will help you too, because you have to think you are going from using high 90 rated players that in a bit will culminate in the collections and usage of footies cards, which are for all intents and purposes perfect cards. And then after that, boom, you have to get the next iteration of the game and start and play with these lower level gold players. So if you aren't trained and ready for the difference, it will hit you. It will shell shock you, right? It does many players, and that's what causes a slow start, a struggle to many players. We will already be used to it. We will be ready to go, and we will be looking to understand the finer nuances of the next iteration, right? Sometimes there's a lot, sometimes there's only a few. But if you have the foundation down, right, you're used to using these lower level players, you're using precision shooting, you're already sharp on your passing, your movement, your tactics are down, you already have a base to start with, you can focus on however many new additions to the game there are that you have to now learn fresh. Whereas other players will still be getting used to, they'll still be building their foundation. They'll still be getting used to playing with these lower rated players. Maybe they haven't even worked on any type of tactical approach. Maybe they've just been using 4-2-1-3, spamming through balls, and who knows? They might nerf it out, because many times that's what EA Sports does to keep the game fresh. They know that these things can get boring, the monotonous approach to just the same tactics, the same setup, right? The same game plan. If that's all that's working, that's going to dry out their game big time. So many times they will make sure that that's no longer the meta. How many times have we seen it? You go into the next game, used to playing one way, used to scoring in one way, and all of a sudden that's totally nerfed. That's why you have to be ready all around. You have to have the basics totally practiced, totally mastered, right? You can never get too good at understanding the way you want to play. Passing, moving, scoring goals, using precision shooting to ensure you score the most. We haven't even got into green time shooting. You take green time shooting, you add that, and you get goals like this, right? Precision shooting is the king, but you add green time shooting to that, and you will score so many more goals. You just have to practice it. Many players will start to train some of these things. They'll be too difficult, and they quit. That's a loser's mentality. You can't have that. Otherwise, that will be the downfall of you. That's actually probably the reason many of you are stuck in a position where you can't go any further, right? You probably get frustrated and wonder, why can't I go past Division 3, Division 2, Division 1? Why can't I ever have success in Elite Division? Whatever it is, many of the reasons are what I'm explaining right now, right? So this approach will help you be fully ready for the game as it comes and be fully sharp in playing at your full potential. Now let's get into dominating the attackers, defending yourself, not the AI, and winning the ball back in a time where defending is absolutely hard. It's hard, if not harder than it's ever been. So how do you do it? First, let's talk about the given, which is second man press. That's the biggest AI help now, where you double tap R1 on the second time you hold it, and your two nearest defenders, not one you're controlling, the next two defenders, will go and mark the two nearest passing options for the attacking team, which will help you a ton because it will lead to possible interceptions. It will lead to your opponent not having those passing options anymore, or it will lead to the easier switch and tackle for you because you have a defender on the player receiving the ball, or potentially the player receiving the ball, right? Then the AI assistance with R1. Now they just barely close down the attacking player, but you better believe you have to now switch to that player and win the ball, which is like why many are going with park the bus, so there's more defenders, more chances for the opponent to run into the to your defenders, and you can win the ball without actually defending. But that's not skilled defense, right? And there's no doubt that there's a potential for that to be nerfed, for the park the bus option to be somehow rendered useless, to where they make you have to use your skill to defend. So do not rely on parking the bus. You have to make sure, especially in the higher levels, because there's good enough players that will eat that up no matter how many defenders you put in the way, as you're seeing me do to my opponent here. No matter how many defenders he has in the way, I'll eat him up, and you're going to see that shortly when I go over how to shred these defenders that are not used to this manual defense. But right now, we are going to look into how you can win the ball manually yourself, not relying on AI, not relying on park the bus so you have just numbers in the back so your opponent runs into your defenders. How you can choose a defender and win the ball. And as you see in this first example, it is all about anticipation. Before, you could literally just get near the opponent, press the X button, your shoulder charge button, and your player would go into an animation, push the attacker off the ball, and boom, you're into the attack, or you have the ball now. But that is not the case anymore. Many times now, if you don't time your shoulder charge perfectly, you will just bounce off the attacker, they will keep the ball, and it won't do anything. You have to anticipate where your opponent is going, make sure that you're in a good position to win the ball when you commit to the tackle. So that is all about timing. That is all about understanding where the ball is going to be when you go to tackle. And when your opponent has the ball and is taking you on, one of the best things you can do, not only switching defenders and making sure maybe you have one defender blocking one dribbling lane, the next defender blocking the next, so that potentially your opponent dribbles right into you and it's an easier tackle. But if that's not the case, you only have one defender, you need to fake like you're going to commit to the tackle and back up. Let your opponent make the first move, right? And then you start knowing where they're going. And then eventually they will leave the ball exposed and you can press a tackle button and win the ball. Or press your shoulder charge button at that point, right? I usually just press X. Still, even with the shoulder charge not being nearly as potent, if I time it right by faking like I'm committing to a tackle, letting my opponent make the first move, and then boom, pouncing on the ball when I see the opportunity, I just simply press X, right? Body the opponent off the ball, and now I win it and I'm going into the attack. It is all about timing and anticipation, and then when you execute the tackle, you have a much higher chance at winning the ball. No longer, like I said, can you just run around near the attacker? Okay, boom, press shoulder charge, you win it. That's gone. Work on this game after game. Take your players, your defenders in particular, and get into a jockey position. Stay with them, work on switching defenders, moving them into potential passing and dribbling lanes, right? And then if your opponent tries to dribble you, you need to fake like you're committing to the tackle, back up a bit, see where they're going with the ball, and then time it to where when the ball's exposed, you press that X button, that shoulder charge button, or the tackle button if you want. The reason why I like shoulder charge is it's more fluid with getting the ball off your opponent and then going into the attack. Sometimes when you press the tackle button, you won't win the ball cleanly, or the ball will kind of bounce away and they can get it back sometimes. So I still like the shoulder charge button. You just have to time it better. You can't just be near the opponent anymore, like I've said a few times. That is what you need to work on, and you will stop your opponent. You will keep the ball out of the back of your net. And just like anything else, it is going to take time, right? Some players will get it quicker than others, but don't get frustrated if you still get burnt at first, right? That's just like anything. You keep working on it, though, and I guarantee if you get this down pat, you will master this manual defending approach. You will master using second man press, knowing when to switch your defenders, how to manipulate your defenders into positions to trap your opponent, and you will get great at manually tackling the ball yourself, not relying on the AI, not relying on just having numbers behind the ball so that your opponent runs into them. You selecting a defender will be able to manually take it off your opponent's foot. Now, let's talk about the benefit of having these lower rated players that I'm using now against these team of the season level players. It is obviously much more difficult for me to win the ball. So when the new season comes and we're all using these lower rated goal players, there's no huge advantage for my opponent. I'll be able to win it that much easier. Not to mention, as I get higher rated players, it'll be that much easier for me when I have better defenders. Just like in the attack, it'll be that much easier as I have better attackers. My opponent will too, but I'll be so used to using these much lower level players that have a much harder time beating defenders or defending attackers that I'll be ahead of the game. So with that being said, let's get into the attacking side and how to take advantage of these players that aren't able to manually defend as well, and how to make sure you are maximizing all of your chances, turning them into not just shots but goals. So, the number one thing you need to do is look at how hard it is for you to defend. What are the things you're working on, right? What did I say? Not just committing to a tackle haphazardly. You have to make sure you're going to win the tackle. So what do many opponents do? They just commit to a tackle haphazardly, which leaves you open with the ability to slice them up and get the shot off. They're going to be diving in. Many of them rely on the AI and just numbers in the back. So if you don't sprint, you keep that ball controlled, as you're going to see here. You keep it near your body. If you get closed down on too many defenders, that means you're going to have open passes elsewhere. So you make sure you're looking at your options, you use them. And again, you see here, tight control. Force that defender to have to choose the defender to stop you. The AI will get sliced and diced up because it's just numbers that the opponent's relying on, right? When they park the bus, they're hoping that you panic, rush right into them, and they win the ball. If you slow down, keep control on the ball, they're going to be a force. Look at this defender here. Every time he chooses a defender, he dives in, he lunges, and I keep the ball and blow by him, or at least keep advancing up the field, right? You see it every single time. He has numbers, but he notices it's not working because I'm controlling the ball. I'm keeping it tight, right? Look, he's trying. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's panicking. Not once did he drop back. Not once did he fake like he was committing. He kept just going tackle, 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 and missing. So that opened up, you see there, blew by that defender blown by. Same here. He had no idea what to do because he's not working on proper defending. He's trying to rely on his numbers in the back, and boom, it leads to a goal. Not to mention, if you saw how that started, on the other end of the field, me defending, I anticipated, and once I saw my opponent make the mistake, the ball was open, then I committed to a tackle, and that literally started the build-up that led to that goal you saw. That is what it's all about. Practice these things, perfect them, and you will dominate on the pitch. As you can see, both defensively and offensively, it's not rocket science. It's simple stuff, but like I said, many players will they'll struggle because it's a whole new way of defending. On the attacking side, they'll rush shots, they'll miss, and they'll just think, oh, well, I'll get another one. Oh, well, I'll get another one. As you get to the higher levels, you have to score your chances. You can't miss and go, oh, well. You have to work on getting those percentages up, the times you shoot and score compared to the times you shoot and miss. And that will be the difference between you staying at Division 3 instead of going to Division 2 or 1. Staying at Division 1 instead of breaking into Elite Division. Staying at the low level of the Elite Division instead of raising higher. Going to the FC Pro events and just getting smoked, and winning and advancing in the FC Pro events. Work on these things. Get a strong foundation and build up from there. So with that being said, keep grinding, keep having fun. I will see you on the next episode and in other videos. Much appreciated for your support. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe. I appreciate all of you. See you soon. Peace.